Well, I think their dribble penetration hurt us on the defensive end. We got in a little bit of foul trouble, um, and they were able to get to the free throw line. They made the three threes in a row early in the third quarter. That really changed the momentum of the game. Um, so, I mean, I felt like it was a combination of dribble penetration on defense, and then we just turned the ball over in the third quarter, in particular, third and fourth quarter. And then fourth quarter, we just didn't have a flow offensively. It was really tough. I don't think we got very many assists in the fourth quarter, and that's something that we talk about. So, big thing for this team is we've got to get some consistency in terms of who's going to show up every night, and we're still searching for that at this point in the season. We're still searching for that consistency from at least five. So until we get that, hopefully we'll start to get some of that going in the conference play. But we really got to get a level of consistency, and that will help us.
Something you alluded to. I mean, in the first half, the offense seemed effective. You were able to get to the rim a lot. Why did that work?
Well, I thought we did a good job of rebounding and going in transition. I thought we had some speed on our cuts in the half court, and I thought we made the extra pass very well in the first two quarters. In the third and fourth quarters, not as much. Our spacing was bad. We didn't make the extra pass, and we slowed down a little bit. So, combination of those three things and the turnovers. It's hard to stay in the flow when you get as many turnovers as we did.
You said rebounding a little bit kind of swung the opposite way in the second half. You were out-rebounded this game. Usually you guys are really dominant on the boards, but also gave up 14 offensive rebounds as well. Can you kind of speak to that? And, I know that it's difficult to rebound in the zone that you guys switched to, but can you kind of speak to that and, how is that able to be cleaned up?
Yeah, some of it is a focus. And when I talk about the consistency, I mean the consistency, not as much on game day, but the consistency to what we do in practice. We bring that to the game court. There has to be consistency in that. There has to be growth for us in that. Understanding, and I will say this team is still learning how to win, right? And people may not understand that learning to win is a process, learning to play with prosperity. So you're up 10. How do you keep that lead? How do you stop a run when they go on a run? And this team is still learning some of those. They're learning some of those basketball kind of traits that you have to learn how to win. You have to not get to, for lack of a better word, you can't panic. You can't, think the game, 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, there's a lot of game left, right? And understanding that and playing with poise and playing with confidence and sticking to what's working. Sometimes this team being so young, they don't understand how long the game is. They don't understand how to win. They don't understand necessarily how they can impact the game in a particular moment by being less aggressive, right? They're learning those things. So this is a good game to go back and reflect on and say, hey, we did these things, to get ahead on an NCAA tournament team, because this team will be in the NCAA tournament, no question. And then how did we let those things go? So a lot of learning experiences for this team.
We talked a lot about her. Kayleen had 26 tonight, another big game. I mean, what did you see from her that was different or better or more the same, I guess?
Well, I think, Kayleen has certainly figured out the offensive end of the floor. She's got to figure out the defensive end of the floor as well. And so, this is not 1956 where we're playing 6-on-6, where she could just stay on the offensive end of the floor. And I think that's, some of her growth is learning how to impact the game on the defensive end as well as the offensive end. So I mean, we know she can find ways to get baskets. Now, can she find ways to get stops? Can she find ways to keep her man in front of her? Can she find ways to get big rebounds when we need them? And that's her growth going into conference play, is playing both ends of the floor at a high level.
Last question for me, still about Smichael. I know you said that she knows how to find ways. She's not afraid of the spotlight. But I felt like a few times down the stretch, and I could be wrong, but I felt like a few times down the stretch she was kind of second guessing herself when to take over the game, when to kind of look for her shot, because she was hot. Like, I felt like she was a good offensive spot for you guys. So what has that conversation been like, of telling her, like, you know, kind of teaching her where to find her shot, when to take over a game, when to step up?
I think that's certainly reflective of what I said earlier about learning how to win. And so it's not so much conversation as it is experience, right? She has to go through those moments and figure it out. I remember Kobe Bryant, his rookie year, you know, in the playoffs, he shoots those 3 air balls, right, at the end of the game. And he has to have that experience to understand what that moment is like. So Kayleen has to have these experiences where she is like, do I take it? Do I not take it? So she figures it out. And she's a smart and a savvy enough player that I think she will. And it's not really an individual thing in terms of Kayleen, but it's a collective team thing, and understand, okay, time and score. For example, I think at the end of the third quarter, we were trying to get Erica to bring the ball out, and you know, she's like, so those things are they just have to happen. They have to be in those moments so you can coach them through it. I think Kayleen will be fine. I think this team will be fine, but we've got to grow in some of these areas, and I think we will.